Rhett Palmer.
The mayor of the airwaves is ready to go. Talking to people you wanna know.
Face to face.
One-on-one.
Get the story and have some fun with Rhett Palmer.
Now, the most trusted name in radio, Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves.
We're going to give a better entertainment than it was at the halftime at that game, right?
So true.
Hey, hey, whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, 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 whoop, 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 whoop. Wow, whoop, whoop, whoop. Let me scratch myself and sniff myself. Can you believe she did that?
I saw that on Twitter. I missed that when I watched it.
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just like a meme or something, but
Yeah. I don't know. Just kind of crazy. Let's see if you're up here. Can I hear you? Give me a test. Will you?
test 1, 2,
All
3.
right. Mine doesn't seem to be as loud as it was. I don't know what's going on here. Probably because my headset wasn't up. There we go. All right. And we have a beautiful day here in paradise.
True, it is super
And-
nice out today.
And for all you people that are sad and lonesome.
Oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day.
Almost totally
Let's see.
forgot.
Let's see. Our song for the day will be. First of all, this is an ancient Chinese song called Tuning.
Okay. Tuning. It's a classic.
You talk while I'm doing this.
Sure.
Talk about some news items.
Sure, yeah. Well, I was kind of excited to dive into the whole UFO phenomenon with you today. There's been multiple different sightings of, these UFOs over Lake Huron and Alaska and Canada, right? They closed airspace in Montana. I think over Lake Michigan as well. So I think it's up to like 6 or 7 sightings at this point. And, who knows what it could be. I have a couple theories that I wanted to talk with you about and get your opinion
Well,
on.
how
yeah.
about this? Baby, we have a hard time sometimes. Why I do not know. You're kind of esoteric to me, kind of like a UFO. Hey, my baby's a UFO in a clandestine way. She might be flying up ahead, or she might be catching up my way. Well, my baby is a UFO flying high in the sky. Sometimes I don't know why she's hanging around. I can't really say why. Baby, sometimes you confuse me. Why I do not know, but you're just like a space alien. A UFO. There we go.
Let's
All right.
go.
Let's talk about the UFOs, man.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of buzz going around with this story. And there's a couple different theories that I think are all plausible. Right off the bat, I don't think that it's extraterrestrials. I don't think that UFOs are coming here from like a different solar system and like investigating us or something.
Shucks, I was kind of
Don't
hoping
believe
for an
that.
escape, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that will say that.
Yeah.
But, hypothetically, if UFOs and aliens did exist, which I'm not totally convinced of, if they did exist, Justin Trudeau wouldn't be able to shoot them down. The Canadian Air Force with F-15s would not be able to shoot down some extraterrestrial craft.
I still don't know why they didn't just use a rifle. Why do they have to use $1 million bomb?
To go and blow it up.
Is this like a stupid?
I mean, it would be quite a shot to hit something that's like 20,000 feet in the air with a rifle. So you'd have to get like your top sharpshooters or something.
How about just on one of those guns where they have the? Don't they do that anymore?
Oh, the anti-aircraft guns you're talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, the F-15s and especially the F-22s that America scrambled, they have like the target locking systems, right? So it's a lot safer just to lock on target.
Now,
and blow it up,
the
I would
word
assume.
has finally come out that the Chinese are now saying that in the past they've had at least 10 of these incidents. It's over China,
Yeah.
and that we are the ones that slapped their face first. Do you think it's true?
Yes, yeah. So that's one of the theories that I think is plausible. I think that China, Russia, and America, we're all at like the same technological capability right now with our military, where we're kind of diving into this drone warfare. And we kind of talked about this with David Hunter last week.
Yeah.
And there to a lesser extent, David Hunter was talking about the quad rotor drones going into Iran and blowing things up. I think that, with these advanced countries like China, like America, we're at the point where we have these drones that can be undetectable, can just fly into each other's airspace, and who knows if it's for spying, if it's an actual weapon, or for something else. But I think that these UFOs are simply kind of like classified drones that these countries are kind of testing each other's response times with and seeing what they can get away with to kind of be like, hey, we have this technology, don't mess with us. Because then that government that got caught, lacking kind of thing, they allowed this thing into their airspace undetected, they have to figure out a way to explain that to their population. Oh, we just let this Chinese drone into our airspace. They can't say that. So they're going to say, oh, it's UFOs or it's something else.
Well, I heard that they were working on this so they could figure out a new way to have Chinese food delivery.
Very sophisticated way of delivering Chinese food. I'm down for it. I'll get my Chinese food delivered by a
beef
drone.
with bakwi, beef with bakwi. Egg foo young, we fool you. We fool you. Egg foo young. What's your favorite Chinese food?
Favorite Chinese food?
Yeah.
I worked at a Chinese restaurant back in high school.
Did you?
And it was a really weird experience because they spoke Chinese or like Mandarin or something in the restaurant. I couldn't speak like a lick of it. But after every shift, I'd get the peanut chicken rice.
Yeah.
Peanut chicken is like my go-to.
Ooh,
Yeah.
peanut chicken. So
Yeah.
do you like what's the thing that the is it the Japanese or the Vietnamese put in peanuts? It looks like a spaghetti, and they put peanuts in it.
Oh, you're talking about pad thai.
Yes.
Pad thai is delicious too.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
I
Yeah.
figured you'd like that. That's
Yeah.
Barbara's food.
Love Asian food. Asians make the best food out there, I think.
Well, maybe it's because it's fresh.
Could
You
be.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a wok. I got a wok for Christmas, but then I forgot to oil it, and it kept anyway. I put it in my garage, and it kind of got rusted. I had to throw it out. So I got to get another wok.
Yeah. True. Yeah,
that-
it's also like so simple to make too. Just making like a stir fry or the pad thai too. Just kind of throw everything in there, mix it up.
Now,
add some soy sauce.
have you had breakfast today?
No,
Either have I.
no.
So you're making us hungry.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm the one that said Chinese food.
yeah.
delivery.
Exactly.
It's all about the food, dude.
Real. Yeah. I mean, I've kind of I don't even know the last time that I ate breakfast. I usually skip breakfast.
When I was
Yeah.
your age, I did too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what it is. I'll drink lots of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
But I wake up, I'm not like really that hungry. And then on like the other side of it too, I think that it has some health benefits, the whole intermittent fasting kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I'm not like dying for
You
food,
don't-
then I just don't eat.
Yeah, but look, you're young and fit.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What a bunch of BS. He's sitting here skinny as can be. Intermittent.
Yeah, you got to stay skinny.
Do a little extra for me, would you?
Okay.
Talking about communism, could you please lose some weight for me?
Yeah.
Oh, my word. So do you miss the Tim Horton donuts of Canada, though?
I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
I don't actually.
No, wasn't
And
that
the whole thing is Tim Hortons changed in the past like 5 years or so. It was bought up by like Burger King, like the big corporation,
Yeah.
and everything changed. It was way better back when it was more like an independent chain.
Yeah.
I have many memories going to like hockey practice at like 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and you'd stop at Timmy's and get a hot chocolate and some Timbits, right?
Well, long ago, before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, it is about 30-something years ago, I used to go up above the Canadian border because when I used to do jingles. Did I tell you that? For
Yes.
radio and TV
Yeah,
ads.
yeah.
And I would go over the border. So let's say a company gave me $5,000 to do a musical jingle. That's to pay for all the musicians, to pay for the studio time. We'd give them 3 ideas. They pick one. Then we go over the border. Well, that $5,000 turned into $10,000 Canadian. So I was able to go up there. And then we're talking 35, 40 years ago. I mean, motel rooms were maybe $45 a night. So for $18, I could stay because my money was doubled. I could go get a grilled cheese sandwich for 75 cents. I mean, I felt like, wow, man, I've won the lottery of life, you know? And then what I would do is piggyback my songs, my gospel songs or my patriotic songs, and I would record those. When I got done with the jingle, the musicians are there. So when I said, here, we got a couple other songs. Let's rip these out, you know?
Nice.
But I loved going up to Canada. I loved it. I know now things have changed. There's a vibe up there.
Yeah.
Even Barbara's son got his doctorate at Hamilton
Yeah.
in archaeology, and he loved the public transportation. A lot of people from your generation don't seem to mind public transportation. Would you want to give up your own private car?
No. I've always been kind of against that. It's kind of like a complicated issue because if you have a system like what's over in Europe, when there's so many different options and like the towns are a lot smaller and there's not really a way to drive, I can see the argument for public transportation.
Yeah.
But like here in America and in Canada, you need a car. Just hopping on the TTC back in Toronto, it wasn't the quickest way to get around, for one. But for two, it's dangerous. And there's actually this whole thing going on right now
Really?
with the TTC. There's been all these attacks, whether it's homeless people or like gang members. That's been like the latest thing. Gang members will target people on the TTC up in Toronto, especially girls. And they'll just like straight up beat them up, rob them on the TTC. And there's no officers on there, right?
Not good.
So
No.
it's just like the Wild West on
Yeah.
on the transportation system.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
Yeah.
not good at all. No, I was in Moscow, and you probably wonder what was he bringing to Moscow for? Because I went to the subway there, and it was really. I would have to say this. They're really into art, and you go into the subway system, and they have paintings on the walls. They really celebrate art there, and it was quite beautiful in Moscow.
Awesome, yeah.
That's about the only redeeming thing, though, because when no one held me against my will when I was there, but when I got back to America, I had 4 nightmares in the next 6 months that I was being held against my will in Russia. Why? It's like there's a spirit of heaviness there, a spirit of control. It's just, and I'm a very sensitive, intuitive guy, you know. Touches my feminine side, you know. But seriously, there was a vibe there, you know.
Yeah, there's probably something there that kind of like dates back to like the Cold War, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that might be, part of like the whole generational divide too, because I wasn't alive when the Cold War was happening, right? So I never got to experience like this whole nuclear threat of Russia, trying to like
Sure.
nuke America and the Cuban Missile Crisis and stuff like that, right? So my view on Russia, it's one without the communism attached to it, which is kind of interesting.
So it's kind of weird for me. You'll realize when you get older. On the outside, you may get older. But on the inside, you're still young.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, when I was doing these things, you weren't even a twinkle in your daddy's eye. And just a few years ago, oh, look at this. You got look at the little baby. And now here you are, and you're like, oh, wow, like, you're like this adult.
Yeah.
And it's quite bizarre.
Uh-huh.
The growth thing, how that happens, where that maturity comes from. Is there something in your life that happened? If there were a couple of things that happened that affected your life and accelerated your maturity as a young man?
Yeah, yeah. I think the most obvious one was going to university. I moved out when I had just like turned 19, and I moved to the big city, Toronto, on my own for the first time, kind of thing.
Cool.
So that was a big
That's a
maturity
nice
thing.
city. It's very clean.
It used to be very clean.
Oh no.
Like, I noticed a massive change over
yeah.
my years downtown Toronto.
Oh,
When I
see.
first got there, very, very clean. And Mayor John Tory, who actually recently resigned, which is kind of interesting, but he just totally let it go. And now on the university campus where I studied at, it's just like you walk over homeless people, there's trash everywhere. It's not good. It's like a third world country almost.
That's too bad. I saw Mamma Mia there twice, and
Mhm.
it was so clean back then.
Mhm.
It was such a wholesome city. I'm so sorry that happened. You want to hear my Toronto story? I was staying at the what is it, the Four Seasons?
Mhm.
Okay, so we go out. We got the front door, and so we walked around for about an hour. Then finally, we decided to hail a cab.
Mhm.
So we hailed a cab. He pulls over. We said, "Take us to the Four Seasons." So he drives us around for about a half an hour, and pulls up, and then lets us out.
Mhm.
The next day, we walk out the side door. And that's where we hailed the cab. We'd gone all the way back. He probably didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So take us to the Four Seasons. Okay, take advantage of these guys.
Yeah. Totally scammed.
That's a true story.
That's funny.
Oh my word! But I'm sorry to hear that about Toronto.
Yeah, yeah. There was this one time, and I was walking like right at Yonge and Dundas Square, and there had been like a lot of gang violence recently. There was a rapper who was just killed in front of the Blue Jays Stadium like a couple days before, I think, and I was just like walking. I totally forget. I think I was going shopping or something,
Yeah.
and there was like this massive crime scene. Like right in like the Canadian Times Square, right? With like all like the lights and everybody goes there to shop and hang out and stuff. And there's this massive crime scene, yellow tape everywhere. I'm like, what's going on? Like this is like right downtown Toronto. Cops are always here. And there was a gang shootout. Some guys pulled up in a van. They pulled a drive-by on some gang members who were hanging out down there. And that happened like 15 minutes before I walked down there. It's just like, it's crazy, you know?
It's dangerous times.
Yeah.
Sounds like a line from a Dylan song. These are dangerous times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was walking with my baby,
Now, speaking of like dangerous times and also you going to Russia, I think that we talked about this off air one of the first times that we met.
Yeah.
But I had this conversation 2 nights ago with somebody. And I've always wanted to go on vacation somewhere that is kind of dangerous.
Oh.
It might be like the more adventurous side in me.
I have a
but-
book that I could loan you. It's the most dangerous places to go to,
Awesome.
travel to,
Perfect.
in the world.
Yeah. I was thinking like Syria, North Korea. Like,
How about-
I want to like go somewhere crazy.
I don't know if you do. You think you do.
I totally do. I totally would do it.
You can get addicted to that adrenaline, though.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of people in the become in the press.
Hmm.
They get addicted to that,
Hmm.
and there's something appealing. I've been a short-term missionary. I went to Africa, been to Haiti, among other places. And one nice thing about going to Haiti is desperate poor. It's just culture shock, but poor, genuinely poor people are very rich. Even the Bible says God has chosen the poor to be rich in spirit.
Hmm.
And when you go to Haiti, their eyes open up and they run towards you because you're the greatest gift they've ever seen. Like somebody here might look at a brand new, oh boy, I'm getting a brand new Rolls Royce. They look at you like you're a Christmas gift that's appeared. Who are you? What are you all about? Tell me about your world travels or whatever. And so they really appreciate. And I think that's actually true in America. You'll find most giving people are the people who have less.
For sure.
So when you go there and somebody throws you a bowl of white rice and mushrooms, which happened to me once when I was starving, and you're thankful for that little bit of food, being thankful with a little is far more enjoyable than just, oh, we're having steak and lobster again, you know?
Yeah, totally agree. There's been a couple times. It's even just kind of like when you go over to a friend's place,
Yeah.
and you're not expecting to have dinner or anything, but then dinner time rolls around, and they offer you to stay for dinner. Like stuff like that. Those like little gestures. It goes a long way, I think.
Little gestures. I need to write that down because last night I was at a meeting, and it was a regular guy meeting, something I attend. And one old friend, I turned around and he waved at me and gave me a wink. Now, I'm not a winker, but it felt so nice getting the wink.
Yeah.
I'm not a gay guy. It's not nothing like that. But even at this age, it's nice when somebody acknowledges you. How you doing? Wow, it just so nice. And what did I just say? You said little what? Little
Gestures.
Little gestures. I want to write that down. That'd be a good title for a book because I think we need to get back to kindness.
For sure, yeah.
Little gestures. I like that. Little bits of kindness. People are appreciative. Are you as a young guy?
Yeah. There's two thoughts that I'm having right now about this.
Okay.
The first one would be like, as a kid, I do vividly recall going into like a restaurant or, going, into a store or just like walking down the street and having people say hi to you and like, how are you? And talking. That doesn't happen anymore. You'll go into a
Yeah, you
restaurant.
feel kind of like a freak if you go hi. They go, "Ooh."
Exactly. And the waiter will just be like, what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
There's no like actual conversation that goes on there.
And it's too bad because studies show a good server can make up for okay food, but great food cannot make up for an okay server. If you notice, if your server's enjoying herself or himself, it's a relationship thing, and we're having fun, and they want to serve you. Whereas if they're in a grumpy mood, it's like, oh, I really don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And so a good server can make up for okay food. Haven't you done that? I mean, haven't you gotten lousy food and you still left a 25% tip?
Oh, for sure.
Because
Yeah. Yep.
You were great. The food sucked, but you were great.
Yep.
And it's nice to have met you.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's happened many times. And then the other thing that kind of came to my mind too, it kind of ties into Valentine's Day, I think, actually. And it's this idea of guys my age within Gen Z. You might have seen some studies about this too, but I think it's 27% of guys my age within Gen Z, they've like never had a girlfriend. They've like experienced this kind of like emotional drought where people don't give them any attention. Then they end up kind of like locking themselves in their room and stuff like that.
Or getting a gun and shooting people.
Exactly. Yeah. Depression is at an all-time high, right?
Yeah.
And on TikTok, for example.
Yeah.
You'll always see these TikToks or even on Twitter, and it's guys, talking about this whole phenomenon of like, a girl complimented me today. I'm gonna remember this for like 5 years, because they've never gotten a compliment in 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
See, well, is this social media that's done this to your generation?
I don't think it's social media. I think it is the media. I don't think it's social media.
Okay, expound on that.
Sure. I think that mainstream media has divided people so much, and I think that they have placed so many kind of like degenerate ideas, degenerate things at the forefront of people's minds, kind of like filling that hole that we talked about on yesterday's show.
Yeah.
Where now, especially girls, they like. I'm trying to explain this because you probably don't know about inceldom.
Inceldom.
Yes, the whole incel phenomenon.
No.
No, okay.
How do you spell it?
Do we have enough
Like
time? We do have enough time.
Insulation? Like insulation?
Kind of. So it stands for incelibate.
Oh, incelibate.
Incelibate, yeah. So,
Celibate is having a non-sexual life.
Exactly, yes. And that kind of plays into this too. Because guys will go through high school, they'll continuously get rejected by girls and stuff like that. And then the media will kind of push all these different kind of hole fillers, right? These, whether it's video games or drinking or drugs or whatever it is.
Do you think that's why homosexuality is on the rise?
That definitely plays into it as well. Absolutely, 110%.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, people used to get married young. You were 18, 19, and you'd, propose to your high school girlfriend, and you get a house and a car and a job,
But
right?
in the days of Joseph and Mary, they said you married when you were 14 or 15.
Exactly. Yeah, and then now it's like, there's all these women out there, and, they'll sleep around until they're 30, 35, and then they want to settle down. But then what guy at 35 wants, like a 30, 32-year-old woman who has slept around and partied and done all these things that he would be ashamed of, right? So it's kind of like there's this whole cultural shift here where guys are just being like, okay, girls, they're kind of an issue right now. I'm just going to do my own thing. And there's pros and cons to both sides. Obviously, we want to see people having babies and having large families and, kind of maturing and growing up and, coaching their kids' baseball game and stuff like that. But on the flip side, it's like, yeah, there's kind of a problem here with women who
but
are not participating.
When I grew up, see, I celebrate femininity.
Mhm.
I love femininity.
Mhm.
I admire women. I like working with women, and I probably could very easily work for a woman. It wouldn't bother me. But what amazes me is the women that can be CEOs and they still have their femininity.
Mhm.
It's got to be hard because it is true. If I'm out and aggressive, they'll say, "Hey, that guy's he's a go-getter. He's
Mhm.
aggressive." And a woman who's aggressive like that, they'll use the B word.
Mhm.
And so it's got to be difficult for women to maintain that femininity. But also, when you've got a Rihanna
Mhm.
who scratches herself during the halftime and then sniffs her finger,
Mhm.
it's a turnoff. It's like, ugh. I mean, because I used to think of women as being, and I actually still do, thinking generally women are more noble than men.
Mhm.
They arrive a lot earlier at sensibility than the male.
Mhm.
I think nature does that because they have to take care of the offspring. But yeah, it's got to be hard, because the turnoff of, if you don't want to go out with a guy, then you don't want to go out with a guy.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the whole issue is that these girls, they don't want an actual family anymore. You might have seen some memes and stuff like that about like the 40-year-old cat ladies and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure the stat is it's 47%, I think it is. 47% of girls within Gen Z have said that they don't want to get married.
Wow.
So
We're
that's
about
obviously an issue, right?
We are the Zoomer
Boomer.
and he's the Zoomer, and I'm
You're
the
the
Boomer.
boomer.
And we appreciate you. And just remember, someone somewhere needs your random act of kindness. Give unto
True.
others, your darkness will rise out of the darkness like the noonday sun. That's in the scriptures,
Awesome.
Have
Yeah.
a great day.
You too. Adios, everybody.